Good evening and a warm welcome to this evening's edition of Fine Print. I'm Molly Gambhir. It's a race against time in Indonesia as a desperate search for survivors continues post a 7.5 magnitude earthquake that triggered a tsunami. At least 844 people declared dead so far. Of the 844 deaths, nearly 821 were reported from the city of Palu. In Parigi Motong region, 12 people died, while in Donggala, the death toll now stands at 11. Of these, 744 bodies have been identified so far. Hundreds of people are feared to be trapped under the rubble. Rescuers in Palu are awaiting heavy machinery to search the ruins of a hotel and a shopping center. According to local media reports, mobile phone signals have been detected in the rubble of a Palu shopping mall. Locals have also reported hearing muffled shouts from under the debris of a hotel there. Several roads continue to be blocked, the telecommunication system also standing affected. And to add to that, the airport connecting Palu also has suffered damage. Several hospitals damaged as well, with some of those injured now being treated in the open. Meanwhile, authorities in Palu have started burying the victims in mass graves in order to avoid outbreak of diseases. A 100-meter-long grave has been dug. Remember, rescuers are yet to reach some of the worst-hit areas, such as the city of Donggala and Balarau region, where an entire housing estate caved in. The estate was home to over 900 people. Counting of bodies has not begun in these areas, so the death toll is feared to increase. Overall, at least 48,000 people have been displaced. With the 844 deaths, one cannot help but ask what went really wrong on Friday. Was there no tsunami warning sent out? Well, this is what really happened. The 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck off the island of Sulawesi at 6:03 p.m. local time on Friday. Dozens of aftershocks followed. BMKG, which is Indonesia's meteorological and geophysics agency, followed protocol and sent out a tsunami warning. BMKG said that potential waves of 0.5 to 3 meters may lash Sulawesi. But what happened next proved disastrous. The tsunami warning was lifted in just over 30 minutes, around 6:37 p.m. local time. Meanwhile, hundreds of people had gathered for a beachfront festival in Palu, one of the worst affected areas. They were swept away with waves as high as 6 meters. Now, while authorities at the Met Department claim that the waves struck while the warning was still in force, critics claim that the warning was lifted too early, remember, within a span of 30 minutes. The fact being, though the alert was sent out to the residents of Palu and other areas via text messages, most of the residents did not receive them, as the earthquake had brought down the area's power and communication lines. And to add to that, there were no sirens along the coast, which points to a massive failure in the tsunami warning system of a country that faced a similar situation just over a decade back in 2004. That's when an earthquake of magnitude 9.1 struck beneath the Indian Ocean near Indonesia, generating a tsunami that claimed more than 230,000 lives in 14 countries, one of the deadliest natural disasters ever recorded. When that tsunami struck, the only warning most people in the region had was the sight of a giant wave heading towards them. Unlike the Pacific, the Indian Ocean at that point did not have a system to alert residents of coastal areas that a tsunami was on the horizon. Many analysts claimed that the disaster could have been mitigated if there had been an effective warning system in place. An early warning system is one of the most effective ways to mitigate the impact of a tsunami. It gives people time to seek safety if warned of the impending calamity. And post that 2004 disaster, one of the deadliest in the world, work started on setting up an early warning system for the region. Now, coming to the tsunami warning system, specifically in Indonesia, it is currently made up of a network of 170 seismic broadband stations, 238 stations and 137 tidal gauges. Experts claim that for a country as vulnerable to such natural disasters as Indonesia, this warning system is extremely limited. Compare this to the United States, for example, where the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has a sophisticated network of 39 sensors on the ocean floor that can detect even extremely small pressure changes. Any indication of a possible tsunami is relayed via satellite and analyzed. The authorities then issue a warning if required. Remember, though Indonesia's tsunami warning system did pick up the disaster, it failed to gauge its scale. The authorities issued warnings for waves ranging anywhere between 0.5 meters to 3 meters. But what the residents of Palu faced were massive waves of at least twice that strength, of at least 6 meters high. The Met Office revealed that the nearest tidal gauge to Palu was over 200 kilometers away. A tidal gauge measures the change in sea level. The one near Palu recorded an insignificant 6 centimeter or a 2.5-inch rise, given the distance at which it was located, prompting the authorities to underestimate the height of the tsunami waves and hence the overall impact. Part of Indonesia's tsunami warning system is also supposed to include a network of 21 buoys which are connected to seafloor sensors and are meant to transmit advance warnings. These buoys were donated by the United States, Germany and Malaysia following the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake. 14 years on, none of these are working. They have either been damaged by vandals or have been stolen. Now, the question that arises then is, why did the Indonesian government not replace or install new tsunami detection system, given that the existing machineries were either faulty, if not missing? Well, a team of institutions from the United States and Indonesia were developing a method of tsunami detection, but due to lack of funding as a result of currency devaluation, the new detection system could not be installed. The program included sensor nodes, sound waves and cables to track the underwater changes and transmit that information to various agencies. If that system was installed, it could have saved several lives. Early detection is a way to avoid large-scale casualties for natural disasters like tsunamis. And for a country like Indonesia, which is sitting on the ring of fire, an advanced tsunami detection and warning system is a must if it wants to avoid repeating history. Meanwhile, Indonesia has said it will accept international help in whatever form for that disaster response and relief. Tom Lembong, the head of Indonesian Investment Board, tweeted on Monday, and I'm quoting, "Last night, President Joko Widodo authorized us to accept international help for urgent disaster response and relief. I am helping coordinate help from private sectors from around the world." Several countries have expressed their condolences and offered assistance to Jakarta in these trying times. India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj took to the floor of the United Nations General Assembly, remember, to promise every possible support from India just hours after that calamity struck.
इंडोनेशिया में भूकंप और सुनामी दोनों त्रासदी एक साथ आई हैं। मैं आज इस मंच से अपने देश भारत की ओर से इंडोनेशिया की सरकार और वहां के लोगों के प्रति गहरी संवेदना व्यक्त करती हूं और इसके साथ ही इस त्रासदी का मुकाबला करने के लिए भारत की ओर से पूर्ण सहयोग का आश्वासन भी देती हूं।
Australia has also expressed its support for Indonesia. The government on Monday said, and I'm quoting, "As a close neighbor, Australia stands ready to support the Indonesian government's response efforts if required." The Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan also conveyed his condolences to the victims of the disaster. He tweeted, and I'm quoting, "I pray for our brothers and sisters who were killed in the earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia, wounded, and offering my deepest condolences to the people of Indonesia." He added that Turkey is prepared to do everything in its power to help Indonesia heal its wounds. Singapore's defense minister said through a Facebook post on Monday that he had written to his Indonesian counterpart, expressing his condolences and assuring all support. He wrote, and I'm quoting, "I assured him that the Singapore Air Force stands ready to provide humanitarian assistance. Our C-130s stand ready to deliver help." Indonesia, meanwhile, is scrambling to expand resources in order to help the victims and expand its rescue operation. President Joko Widodo's administration has set aside $51.5 million for relief efforts.